Here I'm sitting on the floor again in my hemp robe that I made like 16 years ago. Yeah, I've got a sense of humor, flair for the dramatic. Isn't that what photography is about? Let's talk about what is things change in technology. What is Nikon's best current camera? Has it changed since I made the last video? I mean, obviously it's not Christmas time. Nikon is likely not going to roll anything out at Christmas. They might roll out the D5 at Christmas, as is rumored. But I doubt most of you are going to be buying that $6,500 camera. You probably aren't. So what is Nikon's best current DSLR camera for the money? All things being equal, ta-da! Still the same today as it was then. The Nikon D7100. Hooray! Did have 3 of them, got 2 of them now. I think 2 is more than enough. Toshiba sensor. The sensor output on the Toshiba, it could be partially in the 80 converters or the SNR firmware. That I don't know. But the output on the Toshiba sensors and these is incredible. These can be had currently factory refurb from Nikon, as new but used for $650. Or you can buy them used from somebody with, like, 100 shutter clicks on them for $650, $670. Countless thousands of you have actually bought these off my recommendation. These are still exquisite cameras, and like I said, nature shooters that are using $16,000 500, 600 millimeter lenses are using these because they got to crop the hell out of the image, and the pixel density is incredibly high. If these were scaled up to full frame sensors, keeping the exact same photosite density, these would be 54 megapixel cameras. Like I said, if the sensor was scaled up with equal photosite density per square millimeter. What Nikon and Canon are going to now, Canon's already come out with theirs, is full frame sensors with DX pixel density. But these are unquestionably, now these have vertical grips on them, both these are D7100s, these are unquestionably still Nikon's best absolute cat's ass value DSLRs. That hasn't changed. It might change next year, but I really seriously doubt it. I mean, I can't, Nikon just rolled out the D7100, and there's nothing impressive about it at all. It uses a Sony sensor with way different output. The saturation, and this is basically second to the Nikon D700 as far as the best sensor output. How much of that is attributable to the sensor? How much of that is attributable to the SNR firmware or the 80 converters inside this camera? Nobody knows, and Nikon ain't going to tell nobody. Nevertheless, the only thing that matters is the output, and the Toshiba sensor output on this is absolutely phenomenal. Absolute top value. I've not heard back from any of you that bought this off my recommendation that said, hey, screw you, I bought this off your recommendation and I don't like this or that about it. You've all been incredibly happy. I'm so used to handling the D3 and the D810 recently. I haven't been out shooting with the D7100 in like a month or so. These feel so lightweight to me, even though it's not lightweight, even though I got a vertical grip on it. You just get used to really heavy DSLRs and you hold something like this. It isn't really that lightweight, but it just seems so lightweight by comparison. After messing around with those heavy beasts for so long. Anyway, these are still Nikon's best DSLRs. They're exquisite. They're incredible. And really, they're not to be beaten. Nature photographers use them. I mean, I love them. This is my beater camera for when I go to the beach, and I'll be back down in Sanibel Island, Florida here in a little over a month, and this will be my beater camera to take to the beach with me. I still treat it really well, so let me know if you got any questions about anything, but I actually, like I said, I don't foresee even this time next year anything changing, because Nikon just rolled out the D700. All it has is a faster buffer, and it has better high ISO capability, but it has worse low ISO capability. So the low ISO output on this has much better image resolution, resolving power at low ISO than the D7100 does. So, and also it has a Sony sensor. Now, how much of that is attributable to the Sony sensor on the Nikon D7200, I don't know. But the color saturation and the output is more washed out and more comparable to the Nikon D600, and I'm not a fan of it. So other than a higher buffer, there's, unless you're doing a night photography or sports action photography and you need a larger buffer, you would not go for the D7100 because you're pissing your money away and you're really not getting anything extra, and this is really a better camera. The output on this Toshiba is better. People that I know that have owned all the Nikons, and that's me because I've used them all, or I own them all currently. I mean, I've got 9 DSLR Nikons right now, which is absolutely ridiculous. The output on this is exquisite. Even though this is a much less expensive camera than the Nikon D810, which is a $3,000 camera, $2,300 gray market, the output on this is actually even superior. Yes, you heard it right, the output is superior, and I've got 2 of them, a pair of D810s, 36 megapixel full frame DSLRs, Nikon's flagship camera. Well, the D4S is the flagship, but it's a 16 megapixel, so it's not really the flagship. It is for speed and buffer, but this is actually better output. Even though it's a DX sensor, all things being equal, the output on this is better than it is on the Nikon D810. Hard to believe, but that's a fact, and people that have owned all the Nikons will actually agree with me on that. And also, too, you got much more photo sites per square millimeter on this, so it's much better if you're a nature photographer or a wildlife photographer shooting in 300 millimeter longer lens, and you got to crop the piss out of your shot, to capture the little birdie or the bunny rabbit off in the distance or whatever the heck it is you're shooting, the nude woman in the building. Anyway, Nikon D7100. I flapped my lips too much, and now I am going to crawl off my fat butt because I have been sitting behind the computer now for the past 5 years, and it is only very slightly difficult for me, not that difficult, for me to get my fat butt off the floor. Something to do with gravity. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Bye.